everybody, it's Christy Greenwood Boards again. This is my second video and I am here to talk to you about cookbooks. Just like last time, I'm in my bakery. This is Victory Love and Cookies. I live and work in Denver, Colorado. You might have seen the cookies on Unique Sweets or in Food and Wine or the top 10 chocolate chip cookies in the country on Food Network. But my channel, it really isn't about cookies, it's about cookbooks. And it's specifically about sharing my personal library with you guys. I have over 1,000 cookbooks and I love to talk about them. So I don't call these videos a cookbook review because a review would be more critical. I really only want to talk about the things that I love about a book, because it seems to me that we all work really, really hard at what we do, and I don't need to be the one to be critical. Somebody else can do that. The first cookbook we're going to talk about today, though, is one that I would say you really, really don't need. And I try not to tell you guys what you need because I have no idea what your skill levels are, what you love, what you don't love. Maybe you're like me and you just love cookbooks in general. But this one literally is only in my collection at this point out of nostalgia. It's literally the first cookbook I ever purchased back in 1981. I used to have this habit of always putting my name in the front cover of my books along with the date, which I actually find really charming when I look back at the books and I think back to what I was doing in my life at that time, and it makes me feel compassionate for the younger woman I was. When I bought this book, Betty Crocker's Cookie Book, what a surprise, right? I was a sophomore in high school, and buying this book actually earned me the nickname Cookbook Christy for pretty much the rest of my high school years. Looking back at this book, again, you don't need this one. I am shocked when I look through it to realize that I actually didn't bake much out of it. There's a few things where I write, you know, don't over bake, or tastes better the next day, or blah, blah, blah. But considering that I have the pictures and everything in this book pretty much memorized, I was kind of surprised when I decided to revisit it for this video, how little of it I actually baked. And I think that's because I was mostly baking at that time from the back of the Toll House chocolate chip cookie bag, or the back of the oatmeal container, you know, with the Quaker on the front. Or I was always begging recipes from my friends' mothers and fathers. When they would bring a cookie and I loved it, I'd be like, can I have the recipe? So anyway, this literally is the first cookbook I ever purchased. Again, I keep it around just because it's dear to me that I was 15 years old when I purchased it. And it's interesting actually to see how much cookies have changed. We will do some videos at some point about my actual cookies. But this cookbook has a lot of shortening in it, a lot of margarine in it, a lot of food coloring in it. I don't do anything even remotely like that anymore. So anyway, I just thought you might be interested in what the first one was. Then we're gonna do two more. I like to keep these videos short. We're gonna do two more. And the reason why I picked these two is because they are the two that I purchased like 2 days ago. So the first cookbook I ever bought and the most recent cookbooks I ever bought. I have a confession to make here. So I told you in my first video that I typically like to buy my books through used bookstores and independent bookstores. And that is absolutely true. I have some here in my neighborhood that I absolutely adore. But I have to admit, there's the occasion when it's late at night and I've had a couple glasses of wine and I'm looking at a library book and I decide, I really want this one. Or I'm looking through my notes of things that I've looked at in the past and I'm just like, I have to have it and I have to have it now. And so I'm embarrassed to admit that there are times when I hit the purchase button on Amazon. I always feel a little embarrassed about that the next day when I get up and I realize that I have fallen prey to the Amazon button. But both of these cookbooks came, yes, from Amazon. So the first one is The Breath of a Wok. So you may be like, why the hell does this cookbook lady or a cookie lady want Breath of a Wok? What's that got to do with cookies? And again, this isn't a cookie channel, this is a cookbook channel. But the truth of the matter is I find inspiration for my cookies in just about everything I do in life, whether it's reading a Chinese cookbook or listening to live music, or going out to dinner and just trying a new cuisine. So Breath of a Walk, I had heard an interview with Grace Young recently, and I just was like, why don't I have more of her books? I have one other one, which we'll share another time, but this one I particularly love. And one of the reasons, and I've only had it a couple days, so no, I have not cooked anything out of it. But I love, 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 and I'm not a huge picture person when it comes to cookbooks, but I love that in her book she has lots of pictures of the actual staples for your pantry. I don't know about you, but when I go to an Asian market, I'm both thrilled and terrified. Thrilled by the produce, thrilled by the abundance of everything, but I feel so overwhelmingly ignorant of what I'm actually supposed to purchase. And so I loved that she has these pictures of not only produce, but also staples, different noodles, different sauces, and that was really great. The other thing I really loved about it is it's so community oriented. She's not one of those cookbook authors who's me, 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 me. She has so many people in here that you've heard of, and some that a lot that I haven't heard of. People from her San Francisco community, even Amy Tan, the film writer, I guess you would call her, and then other chefs. Everybody from, I wrote some down here because I knew I would forget. Susanna Fu, who's had a restaurant in Philadelphia. Martin Yan, who did, Yan Can Cook. Ken Lo, pretty much a icon there in the historian kind of Asian cooking. So I love that she shares stories. This is a book that I will read, like actually read, because there's so many stories and so much information in here. And again, you may not need it. I probably didn't need it. How many cookbooks does a person need? But I'm so thrilled that I bought it. Then my second one that I bought 2 days ago, and then we'll cut this short because I know that you guys' time is valuable. This book I actually saw on somebody else's YouTube cookbook reviews. I believe it's from The Devil's Kitchen. I don't know the gentleman's actual name, but this is How Baking Works, and it's by Paula Fagoni. This is essentially a textbook. So while I'll read Grace's book, this one is like, I kind of like being a student. I've always liked to study, and this is a textbook. It's going to be a little bit boring in cases, but even after 30 years of being a professional baker, I don't feel like my food science is up to snuff. And being that I would like to do some teaching at some point in my life when I can find the time, I figured it's kind of important that I understand the process a little more. I really, really love the chocolate chapter. Even after I've had this cookie business for 16 years, and I still honestly can't tell you that much about chocolate. I am a intuitive, gut-driven cookie baker. So I feel like it's important to have a little more baking science in my life. And one of the things I love about this book is that it's got actual homework in it. I don't know about you, but when you don't have to worry about turning in your homework, I love homework, meaning homework that I can do on my own time frame. So I will slowly, and it will take a long time because this is a fat book, I will work my way through this and hopefully be a better teacher because of it. So that's all I know this week, guys. As I told you, I am in my bakery and we're closed on Tuesdays. So that means that Tuesdays is the best day for me to stand here and do this, even though the phone may ring and somebody may bang on the door. It's still the best day for me to do this, which means that if you're looking for more videos from me, you're typically going to see the new videos pop up on Wednesdays, because I'll do this on Tuesdays, then I will have it published on Wednesday, and no, I still haven't figured out how to edit, which you obviously already know. So, but I will get there. Again, just stick with me if you want to talk about cookbooks, and if you don't, well, hopefully you've got another passion of your own. All right, take care. Have a great week. Okay, bye-bye.